Welcome to Code with Patrick, and today we're just going to talk about how you can add items to the Recycler view. And right here, we can see on the screen we have three items, and I have created a layout down here. As you can see, a layout actually where we have one edit text view and we have one button. And once we come up here and put in the item. Let's say we want to put orange. We have orange there already. Let's say we want to put something like a mango. Okay, so here, once I click the enter, we're going to have the mango added to the list. And that is basically what we want to do today. And without taking much time, let's dive right into the editor and start coding. We're going to start by going to the layout of the main activity. Here we want to create a linear layout, because what we need is the edit text view and we need a button. So I'll just go right here and call in my linear layout, and I'm gonna set this for the width, and then for the height I'm gonna wrap content. Okay, so let's give it a rotation. The rotation I'm gonna pass the vertical because we want to be vertical. Just gonna open the semi-tab here and call my edit. Okay, this is where you have to call in the edit text view. So I'm just gonna call edit text view. This text view is gonna be used. This edit text view is gonna be used to input and collect the data, the name of the fruit, and here I can match parents as well. And for the height, I'm gonna give the height a wrap contents. And then for the hint, I'm just gonna give it name of fruit. And just call this name of fruit. Alright, so I'll give it an ID, and the ID is gonna be what we're gonna be using to reference the main activity. So I'm just gonna give it an ID. Just call this name, okay, just to keep it simple. And I think basically we're done with that. And I'm just gonna close the tag, edit text, and then the second thing I need is the button. So here I'm just gonna call button, and I'm just gonna match, and here for the height I'm gonna wrap content, and I want to set text of the button, and I'm just gonna call this add. Okay, because we want to add item, so I'm just gonna call add. Okay, let me call it add. Alright, so I'll set the text color, that is the color of the button, and I'm gonna set this to white. Okay, we use the hash, and then the F 3 times or 6 times is going to give you the color white. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is to set ID for this button, and I'm just going to call it, let me just call this add, just to again keep it simple, and I'm just going to close the tag. So here we can get that with the edit, the Recyclerview we have up here. So we want to go ahead and set this, we want to set this below parent, okay, the bottom of parents. So I'm just gonna align this to the bottom of parents, and that will actually take the whole layout of this linear layout down to parents just below, and we can see that up there. And here for the recycler view, I'm just gonna set it above this. I'm just going to set it above the linear layout, but before I do that I need to give the linear layout an ID so that I can track it with that. So I'm just going to call this linear, okay. So I'm just going to say this above, I'm just going to set the recycler above linear, okay. That is going to be, recycler B is going to be on top, it's below, or it's not going to be through this linear layout we have here. So whatever item we're adding, we're gonna be seeing it above the edit text and the button. So for the layout, we want to make this layout a little bit, for the linear layout we want to change the color. Let's make it a little bit, you know, different from others. So here I'm just gonna come and set the background color, and the background color I'll give it white. But some white will not really be so much cool. I want to let me just change it from white a little bit. Let me give it something like a gray color, just a gray color. Just push it up a little bit there, and we can see that there. And yep, that's it. let's go into the main activity and perform some operations. We're done with the XML right now, so let's go ahead and reference all this and run some code to add items to the Recyclerview. Alright, coming up here, I'll come here and I want to call in the edit text. And for the edit text, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to call the edit text any name you want. Okay, from here I'm just going to call it, just to keep it simple, I'm just going to call this edit text. Okay, just want to name it after the name. Button, I'm just going to call in and name this add. Okay, I want to call this add. Okay, so, or you can rename this to name test. Okay, name test. Right, so we have to import this button, and for you to do that you can press your alternate and enter. You have this option in import, click the import to import button. Okay, and so we want to come down here to reference all that, just to load Recyclerview, ready to call in the name CST, and here I'm gonna set it equals to find view by ID, and I'm just gonna call in the arrow.id, and then I'll give it the ID name. Okay, the name we gave it in the XML layout. And then for the button, I'm just gonna I call the button add. So here I'm gonna have find view by ID, and I'm just gonna call that arrow.id, and what I'm gonna do right here is to call in the add that I created earlier on. Alright, now that we've referenced everything, what we have to do next is to come here. What I want to do is to set on click listener to the button. So here I'm just going to call that add, and I'm going to call set on click listener. Okay, can make use of Lambda. Okay, Lambda is just basically making a shorthand way of writing your code, basically. Okay, so if I want to make use of Lambda, that's the easiest way to do that. But if you don't know how to make use of this Lambda, I've made a tutorial for it. Okay, so you want to go ahead, you can see how short this actually is compared to just writing this it this way, the set on click listener, new on click listener, and this is just so bulky. You can see all this, see right here, so bulky. To Lambda, you can actually just alternate and click enter and then replace with Lambda, and that is going to do that for us. We still have our reference here, the view. The V is referencing the view. So what we want to do right here, once the user click the button, we want to check, right, if the user has input a name of a fruit. So we're going to call in the if statement right here, and here I'm going to use a class name test util to check that, and the check is empty, and I'll call the text is just like the name test. Okay, and I'll call this .get text. Now if it is actually empty, this we want to display to the user and let the user know that they really need to input you know, the name of the fruit actually before clicking the add button. So here it's going to check in the context the main activity. Okay, that's this, and that would do the whole job. So here we want to tell them please input name of fruit. Okay, so that's it. And if the edit text actually has the name of a fruit, so what we want to do, we want to call in our X statement here, and we want to go ahead and add that item to what we have already. Okay, so for you to do that, what you have to do here is to call in my fruit. Okay, dot add. What you want to do, you want to add fruit dot add, and you're going to call that name test. Okay, you want to get the name of that fruit from that text. So just gonna call get text here, and I'm just gonna to string, convert that to string and trim it, just in case the user press a white space or enter. This .trim is gonna take care of that. Okay, so now we're going to add that to the fruit list. But that's not all. Okay, we have to notify the adapter that something has been added to the you know, to the list we already have. Okay, so what we want to do is to call in the fruit adapter. dot notify. Okay, we have to notify item change. Okay, item inserted, actually that's what we call it, item inserted. And here we have to spot the position. Okay, item is gonna be inserted. Okay, for right here we want to insert it to the last. Okay, if the fruit is actually 5, for instance, we want to put the next item to the last, to the bottom of the 5, which is gonna make it 6, right? So what we're gonna do right here is just get the size of my fruit dot size, and for you to get to the last number of that my fruit size, you just call in -1. Okay, so this is gonna, what this is gonna notify the adapter that something needs to be added to the last part of this particular list. Okay, so that's what this is gonna do for us. And once we've done that, we're basically done. We don't need to do anything else. So let's run this program and see what we have on the screen. Right, so right now app is loaded successfully, but we can see right here we're not having a very nice UI here. As you can see, the bottom is really just kind of white, and this is actually clashing with the it's clashing with the hints, the test hint that we have. So we're gonna be correcting this in a little bit, but for now let's go ahead and text adding item to it. So we want to come up here. Let's say we want to add mango to it, and I'm just gonna click on add, and yep, we have that added to the screen. And you can see we still have mango in here. That's not supposed to be. Once we click add, we want to remove that from the edit text, and we're gonna be correcting that in a little bit. So let's dive right into the editor and correct that. Right here, what I want to do is to into the XML layout of the main activity. I want to make this a little black, okay, background. So if I have it that way, I think then the hints, the test hints is gonna come out a little bit. But we can come here if you want to change the test hint color. We can come up here and change it a little bit. Okay, I'm not specifically working on layouts. Okay, I'm just basically telling you or teaching you how you can write the code. If we want to work on a much more advanced UI, we can actually have a class, a separate class for that. But for now, just take everything as a basic kind of way to make you understand how you can add item to the Recyclerview. So for the hints, I'm just gonna call in hints color. Okay, for here we want to make it white. Okay, so I'm just gonna come here and I want to go here and make it a little bit gray, kind of a gray color, just to make it different from the normal text we're gonna be imputing. Okay, so I think that is fine, that is okay. So that would do the whole job. And one last thing, we have to go into the main activity. Right here in the main is updated. What we want to do is we want to remove the text that is actually imputed, you know, by the user. So what we want to do is to come here and set name text, and for this name text I'm just gonna call it just set text, and here I'm just gonna put an empty. Okay, so once the user click on the add button, and it checks for availability of item, you know, imputed, and if that is okay, now it's gonna update the adapter here, take the data and update it. And once it is updated, it's going to set what the code we've actually written here is gonna make the edit text to be blank. Nothing is gonna be there. Okay, which is the kind of normal thing you see in app. Once the data is updated, you don't want to have it there again. Okay, so that's actually gonna fix that. And so let's go ahead and run this program and see what we have this time around. Alright, so right now we can see the name of fruit. It's so visible and it's okay, it's good to go. So let's go ahead and impute just the name of a fruit, and I'm gonna go with mango again, and this time around I'm just gonna click enter add and see what happens. Alright, so we can see that we don't have mango on our list on the edit text anymore, and we have mango updated up here. Let me go ahead and add one more fruit. Let me go ahead and add apple. Okay, I know we have Apple as the number one, but let me go ahead and add it again there, and maybe just put that there because your text, your edit text can actually accept that. And so I'm just going to click enter, and so we have it right there. That's basically how you add items to your recycler view. And yep, that will be all for now for this part 2. Don't forget to subscribe if you find this interesting and click the notification bell. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye for now.